On the 17th of March, Namibian president declared a state of emergency for the whole country in response to combat to a spiraling virus, COVID-19.
The lives of our people is of paramount importance. Therefore, I decided, not I, actually, the cabinet decided that we should declare a state of emergency. I'm now happy to declare that state of emergency, and I will be signing the proclamation in front of you.
On the 27th of March midnight, two regions, Khomas and Erongo, were put under lockdown to last until the 17th of April, reason being to maintain maximum suppression of transmissions as a result of these regions' exposure to international travels.
COVID-19 is a global health pandemic. It has reached Namibia, and it is within our houses now. The cabinet this morning met and decided that there must be a lockdown, maybe partial at the moment, but a lockdown starting with Khomas region and Erongo.
On the 28th of May, the president reverted Walvis Bay back to stage 1.
Due to recent developments, the Walvis Bay local authority area will revert to stage 1 with immediate feedback for an extended period of 7 days, and will remain effective until midnight 8th of June 2020.
On the 8th of June, the Namibian government announced stage 1 lockdown measures in effect for Walvis Bay local authority area will be expanded to the entire Erongo region at midnight.
I hereby inform the nation that stage 1 restrictions will be extended to the entire Erongo region for a period of 14 days, effective from midnight to night.
On the 22nd of June, the president announced that the Erongo region will migrate from stage 1 lockdown measures to stage 3. Prior to that announcement, in just 7 days, Namibia recorded 28 positive cases, of which 24 originated from Erongo region. The rest of the country will migrate to stage 4 restrictions on the 29th of June. In response to several false reports circulating on social media related to recent COVID-19 cases in Walvis Bay, the Ministry of Information, with permission from the Ministry of Health, dispatched a team of media officers to cover on-the-ground events within Walvis Bay.
Today is the 29th.
Morning. Jy sê COVID-19 my bra. Kyk hoe staan hy mense voor hy boot.
We are observing the passenger line coming in Walvis Bay port.
Ze go 14 days.
Wat kan jy vir hospitaal?
Dis baie soort situations wat aan ons truckdrywers is. Hulle werk met die drywers of die werkers soos hulle werk met die skape en donkies en pere.
You have heard about the situation of case 22? That's my father. That's your father?
Last month.
Yes, because there was a lockdown. So from
In Caitmans.
no, not in Caitmans. All these ones were he paid in Caitmans, and then.
And my question is always, my brothers and sisters, do you really need a soldier, a correctional officer, or a police officer to tell you to protect yourself after this whole thing has been done?
In this episode, we visit the coastal town of Walvis Bay. We arrived in Swakop on the 2nd of June. Today is Friday, the 3rd of June. After a short visit at the office of the Regional Health Director, we were granted entry permit to enter Walvis Bay as required at various roadblocks.
The only difference is how the
Morning, officers. Good, how are we? Oh yeah.
Let me check that.
Yes, good day, sir.
No.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Fine.
You don't have anything?
No.
What's that?
Permit.
No,
It's there.
Oh, yeah.
The names are here. The two colleagues are here.
Batilifa.
Batilifa.
Yeah.
You were supposed to put out your ID number.
As soon as we were in a clear to proceed, our first stop is at the Walvis Bay State Hospital to meet up with the health officials that will accompany us to the quarantine facility.
How are we? Good. Wat kan is hospital? Ah. Stad hospital. Stad hospital. They kan. Oh, ik moet daar terug de rijpad. Oh. Okay. Alright, thank you.
During this short visit here, we've arranged to see the governor and perhaps local authority councillors on a very short notice if time permits.
You don't want to go to the patient, yeah?
But before we could head out to the quarantine facility, just outside the state hospital is an isolation facility where they conduct COVID-19 tests.
No, this one is a contact, one of the people that were in contact with our confirmed cases, and he's just here for swabbing. He's being tested. We are testing them from day 11 and 12 there. He must have been in quarantine for that long by now.
So from here, where to? We're at the Esplanada Quarantine Facility, and here with me is Chief Administration Officer.
Okay, these are bungalows that were donated by the municipality of Walvis Bay to quarantine contacts of the confirmed cases that we have in Walvis Bay. In total, we have 17 bungalows. They are self-catering, meaning we have a bedroom and a kitchen for each person. Each contact or each person that is quarantined here is having their own bungalows, that is having a bedroom, a shower, a kitchen, and there are also television, all the facilities that you need in the house. As you can see at the entrance, we are assisted by the security cluster, meaning we are not allowing anybody to enter this facility without the permission of the ministry. So the security cluster have to ensure that we don't get visitors at all here. It's only officials of the ministry and other people that, like you, that are permitted obviously to come. So everybody, the monitoring team, the surveillance team have to track people or to trace people from the community, and if they are identified, then they are brought here with the bus of the ministry, and they are allocated their own individual rooms.
Good, how are you?
I'm blessed.
The man in this bungalow is a known truck driver. He asked to remain anonymous, and we were keen to talk to him since there has been a lot of controversy surrounding truck drivers.
The quarantine officers did not stop you from communicating with your family?
No, but first time I was suffering to get to communicate with my family.
Okay,
but this man, I don't know where it's coming from, but he say he's a nurse and he helped me out.
Did you make contact with your family members here in Walvis?
No. She brought me things yesterday night through him, but she was standing there and he is bringing for me the stuff here. But he don't even enter, just put the things and close. It's like, I don't know, lying in the jungle.
Yeah.
So no, I can't for you say, Ek is nog gebring van Otiwarango af. Wat ons verstaan mekaar het met die baas, hy moet vir my elke week 1050 gee. En dan, hierdie 2 weke wat ek hier is, moet hy vir my ook betaal. Maar daar is nie so iets nie. Soos nou, ek het kos gebring van Suid-Afrika af, laat die nation kan eet. Maar by my huis, daar is niks nie. Dis baie soort situations waarin ons truckdrivers is. Laat government vir ons toch insien met die werk wat die boere teen ons of die werkgewers teen ons doen. Hulle sê die dokters, die verpleegsters en die polisie is frontliners. Maar soos ek kyk, is die truckdrivers ook dieselfde met die dokters en die polisie. Want hoekom? Hulle gee hulle se lewe oor. Verstaan jy? Hulle gee hulle se lewe oor, dan wys hulle dit om die nasie te kan help, laat hulle kan eet en drink. So asseblief, laat government vir ons insien en in kontak met ons wees, laat ons ook onze salarisse en hoe ons werk, as ons ook moet uitgaan Suid-Afrika toe, al die nodige gelde kan kry.
So, jy is ongelukkig oor die manier hoe jy gehanteer word?
Hoe ek gehanteer word. Hulle werk met die drivers of die werkers soos hulle werk met die skape en donkies en perde.
Wat wil jy hê die regering moet doen daaroor?
Die regering moet vir ons, die drivers, asseblief insien. Hulle moet dit ook in die parlement hierdie ding noem. Ons kry baie swaar. Ons doen die harde werk vir die hele nation van Namibia. Ons gaan in, ons bring kos, ons maak alles. As ons eendag besluit ontstaan, dan ek glo nie ons sal eet of die ekonomie sal iets kan doen nie. So, hulle moet ook insien dat die truckdrivers 'n baie belangrike rol in die hele storie speel, asseblief.
Don't mind, I'm just taking the temperature.
No problem.
Alright, sir.
What I make of his situation is, his ill feelings are more towards his employers rather, and has no problem whatsoever with the regulation put in place by the government. He is very cooperative with the regulations put in place.
No, I'm well.
Okay.
No cough?
Thank you, sir.
No cough.
No generalized body weakness?
No. I'm exercising well here in...
That's great, that's great.
Yes.
You said you don't want?
No.
Eh?
I didn't even take a shower yet. The water was cold.
Oh. If you take a shower, are you willing?
How do you want me to... Okay, you people should have informed us even.
Okay. No, it's fine. Thank you.
Good morning, Vic. I'm here with people from the media, from information technology. They just want to come have a talk with you. I don't know if you are willing to talk to them.
You don't want? You don't consent? Okay.
Not many of the quarantine patients were willing to speak to us, which we clearly understand due to the fact that we came on a very strict short notice and we failed to inform them of our coming here in advance.
How do you deal with someone who has been quarantined with their baby?
We deal with them as just like the way we are dealing with everyone. Actually, we are always checking on the contact, if the baby was contact or how was the baby exposed and the mother. So normally we put babies, small babies with the mother in the same room. Yeah, but we all basically what we do is we always monitor them. The monitoring is the one which is very much important. So the mother can also tell us, but we also want to see ourselves.
Our next interview is with a Namibian male who was a crew member on a fishing vessel from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He is here through contact tracing after a crew member on the same vessel tested positive to COVID-19, a 63-year-old man known as Case 22. At the time of this production, Case 22 is reported to be in the ICU on a ventilator but in a stable condition.
Well, it happened because I did a trip to Congo. I had to look after refrigeration on board a vessel. I maintain the temperatures of the vessel, of the refrigerated cargo. So that is my position on the ship. I'm not actually working for the ship. I'm not a seaman. I'm a refrigeration technician. So I just make sure that the system that we've built is 100%. So people in Congo can at least eat. Unfortunately, one of the crew member was tested positive, and the rest of us were put into quarantine here. I actually done quarantine on the vessel already before coming here. So this is my second round of quarantine.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not very happy.
Have you tested after the first quarantine?
After the first quarantine, I tested negative, and now I'm waiting to be tested again. So.
How many days, how long have you been here so far?
Since Sunday.
Since Sunday,
yeah.
So 4 days. What is the condition? Are you in good shape?
Yeah, we're in good shape. I must admit the cottages are comfortable. The health has been, the Ministry of Health has been amazing people. It was great to see them because it's a bit of company. But yeah, I can't complain about anything other than being stuck in a box.
You have heard about the situation of case 22?
That's my father.
That's your father?
Okay, at this point I was lost for words. I never expected to be talking to the son of case 22.
You're talking to the son of case 22.
Considering the sensitivity of case 22's medical condition at the time kinda caught me off guard. It was very emotional standing in front of this man who maintained a strong character throughout the entire conversation despite what he and his family are going through at the time.
Difficult. We're all holding thumbs and hoping for the best. We've had a lot of support from public and friends and family. So, all we can do is just really hope and pray. And
for those who are not familiar with case 22, here's the memo.
The 63-year-old Namibian male who came in the country on the 5th of May via a sea vessel at Walvis Bay is known to have underlying medical conditions. On the 22nd of May, the patient went to a local private hospital where he was admitted in a general ward. 2 days later, he started having difficulties in breathing and a test result came back positive for COVID-19.
It is reported that the patient did not disembark the vessel while in DRC. However, Congolese nationals entered the vessel. The vessel returned to Walvis Bay on the 5th of May 2020. Case number 22 is therefore travel related.
And this was the case that forced authorities to revert Walvis Bay back to lockdown stage 1. Time to go meet the governor. The personal assistant to the governor is not answering.
Oh, she's not answering. Okay, let me try again last time.
Still no answer. After several attempts, we couldn't get hold of the governor. Governors usually work on tight, busy schedules. Well, we might have lost the opportunity to see him. So we decided to head out to the truck port. Just before we could turn into the truck port, east of Walvis Bay, is there a roadblock. This truck driver got pulled off for a routine traffic check. The officers discovered that he is operating a truck with an expired license disc and worn-out tires.
You see, the license disc expired. We are already in 2020. So we would issue him a fine for the license disc, as well as for the 2 tires. Right on. Unless there is new license disc, I don't see any. 2018, 2019, 2019.
he blamed it all on the lockdown.
Yeah, but I don't know what problem was there for printing what. So I don't know what problem there was for them to print those discs.
Yeah, but no, my problem is, look when did they expire? Last year already. We had more than enough time to renew these things. And
Yeah, he went to go pay.
Yeah,
because this.
But this was just done now recently. Last month.
Yes, because there was a lockdown. So from
In Kedmans.
no, not in Kedmans. Oh, these ones were he paid in Kedmans, and then I went to go get these at Natas. They printed out these at Natas. So he was having the problem to get the discs from there. I don't know.
But is the disc already out or is it there? And when will it be?
This one was just done now. When was it? Thursday.
No, not this Thursday. 05.
Yeah.
Already in May.
Yeah.
See, there was a grace period in this lockdown for all vehicles with license and license disc. But this was long before the COVID came in.
Yeah,
it expired.
It was not moving since it was expired in December. So he went to go pay for the license, but it took time for it to go to Natas so that it gets the certificate. This is why it got the certificate in May. So I don't know when they wanted to print it.
Then you were still supposed to wait until you sorted out with Natas. Then only then you could operate the truck.
Beyond the road.
To be on the road. Otherwise you were not supposed to be on the road by now.
Okay. So you came from Zambia, so you have to go in for a quarantine.
Okay.
After they are finished with you, so whenever you're going to load the truck, you're going to load it. After you load it, you come back in here. They check everything for you. After that, they will give you a kind of a paper, and then from that paper, you can go. But out
Since the introduction of lockdown measures, there has been a public concern about truck drivers' movements when they enter the country from high infected zones operating under essential services to deliver essential goods. And in response to these concerns, the local authority set up a one-stop spot for all incoming trucks.
I'm here with the health officials at the truck port in Walvis Bay.
So I'm one of the team that are assigned to monitor or to manage the truck port in Walvis Bay.
I'm one of the health officials that is assigned to the truck ports. Our responsibility here is to screen and also to identify the risk people, and also to make sure that everything is fine and everybody is okay when he's entering Walvis Bay.
I'm actually from the Ministry of Defense Force, and I came to assist the Ministry of Health with combating the COVID-19.
Basically, we are the final destination of most of the truck drivers that are coming in Namibia due to our harbor that is accommodating our neighboring countries, Zambia, DRC, and Zimbabwe, and South Africa. So at this point, we are triaging them, we are screening them just to differentiate or to determine whether they are local driver or cross-border drivers, because we are also receiving many of the local drivers. For the cross-border drivers, they are our main concern. So when we determine, we register them or we screen them that they are cross-border drivers, then we have to complete their monitoring through, because the directive, which is from the different stakeholders like the police, the municipality of Walvis Bay itself, and Ministry of Health, they came up that no truck is allowed to park in any streets. If any operation during this time of curbing COVID, if there is any operation, it must either happen at the truck port or it must happen within the yard or maybe in Namport itself. So when they are here, every day we do check their temperature, we do assess how they are doing, and we do interview when are they expected to go back. Same apply also to those that are going to their private yard. There is a team of monitoring. I think it's in 2 teams. They go visit those yards every day to monitor upon these guys.
How are the drivers kept quarantined here? Do they settle in their trucks, or what is the process?
We try by all means that they have to be in their trucks. They are always in their truck. They are not allowed to mingle or be in group. But because of the dealing with people is always a difficult exercise. Some of them, they will find them that trying to mingle and so forth. But normally they're supposed to be in their trucks. They're only coming out when they're going to bath or going to see their canteen. We have the canteen for them here where they can buy their snacks, or they are going to take bath and so forth.
I remember during the COVID-19 communication update, there was a caller that called in, which happens to be a truck driver, that complained about the treatment of truck drivers.
Now, around Namibia community, we are victims. People, they are writing in the Facebook, we need to be killed, we need to be NDF to stand surrounding us. We are now victims.
Thank you, Kamokuve.
Okay.
We respect and salute you.
Please, we are not happy in Namibia as truck driver. We have been treated unfairly.
Well, they really even do every day. They are complaining and saying that you guys, you are not treating us well, and everything in our shop is everything in your shop is us who bring it. So can you not just tell us to stop so that you don't have anything in the shop? Then we do acknowledge their service that they are bringing in. But unfortunately, if we are to say that we have a case coming in Walvis Bay at this stage, we all understand that our borders is crossed and all that. It's only them that they are crossing border. The border is closed against everyone now. So for their border being closed against everyone, for them at least, for that fact that they are bringing us the essential goods that we need to monitor them. In order to cut off the risk or to minimize the risk, we have to keep these people, we have to monitor them. And the only way to monitor them is for them to be in a control yard.
Now this right now, why our government is not doing any perfect things to us as we are the one who's now fighting. It's no more NDF, we are now NDF, we are in war now. But our government cannot treat us well. Why they can't just buy the machine which other like Botswana, Zambia, they are testing people 3 days, they release driver to proceed. And our government, we have to quarantine or to stop the truck which is entering our country at the border. It's where we can test them perfectly before they enter the country. They are free, they can turn wherever. But so now, we are victim of corona.
Yes, the neighboring country, they are doing that rapid test. But what happened is that test is only varied like for 3 days. Like Botswana is 72 hours. For Zimbabwe, they just, not Zimbabwe, but Zambia, they just test and let the driver go. They don't keep this driver within that quarantine facility, but some they have to wait for their result. But most of them, these truck drivers that we are receiving here, they are coming from those countries, so they are not waiting for 14 days. And that rapid test is not to certify that the person is free from corona, because he can be tested today, and by just the next minute, if he gets exposed to someone who is contracted of COVID-19, he'll also become at risk and he can contract the disease. That's why although they get tested in Botswana or Zambia, we still have to consider the exposure, and we also have to consider the incubation period.
Here we are just registering our names. They are getting our details, and they are being screening us to find out the temperature for each driver here. This is my coming from Zambia. It's when I have arrived in quarantine yard.
What's your nationality?
I am a Zambian.
How many tests did you go through?
6 checkpoints. They have checked us starting from Katima Mulilo, Kongola, then Divundu, then Mululani, then Karibibi. And this is the last point to check us here. I have nothing. I'm just appreciating to the government what they are doing this exercise, because they are protecting our lives. They are protecting lives for everybody here in Namibia and in Zambia.
Let's try the governor again. And finally, the personal assistant answers. It's 2:45.
What time did you arrange?
You said after 2, and it's almost 3 now.
Okay, we actually finished 2:30. So we are on our way now.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we'll be there.
Are
In
you
30
already
minutes.
on your way from Walvis Bay?
No. Make it 3:30. We are, let's say, what's the time now? Okay, let's say we'll be there 3:30.
Okay, I'll inform the governor.
Okay, 3:30 we'll be there.
All right.
All right.
He has been waiting at least 3 hours since our first call, so our chances of missing out on him are high. We had to rush.
We are proceeding. You understand?
The governor is waiting for us.
Is Jimmy there?
I think you want to buy something to eat.
Okay, can you tell these guys that are knocking downstairs? If they can just tell them that we have an interview or a meeting, can we just talk for 10-20 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, first, thank you. I should thank your team for coming to the region and to assess and look into the situation on the ground. Now, I, as governor, went to visit or see these quarantine facilities. I should say that first, the quarantine facilities, more especially the one of Esplanade Bungalows in Walvis Bay, it's well secured. It is manned, or the security there, we have the Namibian police and the defense force. It's totally secured. That is now at Esplanade, which is, I should say that the control is quite strict and quite secured to ensure that there's no any contact. I sort of from a distance also met some of the quarantine people. I asked them how they are. They are very happy. They are satisfied with the services they are receiving from the government. And they, of course, some of them, one of them that I went to see was being discharged that same day. So he was very happy, and that is also one of the, I think, the truck drivers the brother to the truck drivers who sneaked out of the facilities that was mentioned. They sort of overpowered the security guard that was at that truck area. So what then happened is that after we have seen this situation, and we then observed that they also do not have the needed facilities and services that we are providing, we then went back to the our truck drivers, our truck owners, to say that we are going to stop using any private facilities, and everybody will be using the one that is being provided. You see, the thing is that truck drivers are very important people in our social life, the cycle, because of the essential goods that they bring in, not only to our table or to their families, but also to the economy of this country. And I think we should first respect them and also appreciate for the work they do.
It was a settling conversation with the governor indeed. While at his office after that brief discussion, he mentioned to us of a certain young man in his community that has developed a teaching habit during lockdown and has been offering various lessons to learners below his grade. We decided to follow this through and pay this young man a visit.
My name is Brentius. My surname is Jas. I'm 12 years old. I'm schooling at Emmanuel Readers Primary School. My hobbies are reading and playing soccer.
As we understand, you are a teacher now.
Yes.
How did that start?
It started on a day when we were playing. When I saw my friends playing in the street, then I said, let's go play school. Then they didn't want. Then they didn't want it. Then I took them and dragged them there, and then we started playing school because of the lockdown. So they cannot stay in the street and get the disease or the virus.
And how is it going so far?
It is going excellent. I'm teaching them nice, and when the school starts, I want A's and B's.
He was brought up in we bring him up in a house where we have, when it comes to school, we really have strict rules and regulations for all the kids in the house.
School is actually a good, it's a passion for him. He's always demanded to go to school and learn new things. He's always on time. So yeah, and homework, he has to make sure that as his mother's also studying, that he's coming with his work and he's giving us, and then we help him together.
It's easy to help him and to bring him up, since that I'm the mother and there is a father figure. Yeah, in the way that when say, like you said, with a single parent, say only a mother figure or so, kids would not take things seriously. Say if a mother says you must do your homework, he will say yes, but at the end of the day he won't. So but if the father also insists and says that you must do your homework, you will see that that kid is doing.
Very interesting. So is there anything else you want to share?
Yes, I want to share to the other young children that are there. They must always wash their hands in running water, sanitize their hands, and wear a mask when they're in the street, and stay safe.
This is all we could unfold during our short stay in Erongo region, but we wouldn't do justice to this production without speaking to the Namibian Police Regional Commander. On a short notice again, we tried reaching out to him, and instantly he agreed to see us.
Hello, Commissioner. We are outside the police station. Yes, front.
Yeah, Walvis Bay has been related to phase 1 of COVID-19 lockdown, which means we are operating on the original phase 1, being the only local authority area lockdown. So now, taking in consideration the fact that we had 2 truck drivers who were quarantined or isolated in yards of the owner of the trucks, and they sneaked out and went out into the community. When they were traced, one of them happened to test positive of COVID-19. And then there came another case, case number 22. That was an old man who was on a boat that went to DRC. The 2 of them, the combination of the 2, it is said that they have approximately 100 primary contacts. So now, while the health authorities are in the process to trace those contacts who were reverted to phase 1, while others graduated to phase 3. We already had a roadblock on a C14 road. C14 road is this road that is going to the airport. So we then decided to reinforce it. Then to lock out Walvis Bay Local Authority area, we put up another roadblock at the Swakopmund to Walvis Bay Bridge to make sure that all the people within the boundary of Walvis Bay, they remain in Walvis Bay, Swakopmund and other towns in the rest of the country. They should remain out of Walvis Bay just to try to contain the spread of the virus. So you still have a very big movement. You have the miners. Those people are going every day to work at the mines, and they are getting in touch with other people from other towns. So making it a bit not practical to say that you have locked Walvis Bay down. But the most concerning issue is the issuance of these exemption certificates for people to operate.
The operation under essential service.
Operation under essential service. But you know, you look at certain shops. Because I was myself on patrol last week, and I saw furniture shops are given essential service operations. Clothing shops, now they are saying because of winter they need to buy winter clothes, and I don't know whether we buy clothes every winter. But I really don't know whether the system itself is not being compromised, because these certificates are issued left and right, center.
This issuing of this certificate is done by which ministry?
Ministry of Trade and Industrialization, I understood. You have a tricky situation. You want to keep somebody at home, don't move, stay at home. Every second shop is open, and I am going to buy essential goods. Where do you draw the line now in that case? That is one aspect that is really concerning. But in terms of security, we are trying our level best. Then you must also know that whenever there is change, it is generally received with resistance. And my question is always, my brothers and sisters, do you really need a soldier, a correctional officer, or a police officer to tell you to protect yourself after this whole thing has been publicized, for us to protect ourselves and our families and our countrymen? Nobody is punishing anybody. In actual fact, we are not out there to punish people, but we are out there to protect them and their families and the members of our society. There at the truck port where we are sending everyone now, we have security in place there. That's why there is very difficult to sneak out.
At the port during the lockdown, are the ships allowed to dock, or are the ship crew members kept in the ship entirely throughout the lockdown?
What happens at the port now is the same with what happens inland. Because ships that are allowed to come are just ships providing essential services, which are bringing in essential goods. When the ship comes, the crew members remain in the ship. Everything is done by other people. Then if it has to be loaded again, then they load the cargo and then it leaves. We also had like a ship that people were trying to make propagandas of, the one that brought 7 Namibians and 182 Zimbabweans who were to be evacuated through Namibia. And
are you speaking in relation to this?
We are observing a passenger line coming in Walvis Bay port, But yesterday it was announced that we are on lockdown. Now we are surprised to see that the passenger liner is allowed to come in port.
What we did is when the ship docked, the buses went up to the ship, boarded the people who needed to be in transit directly to the airport with an escort. Then they left.
The COVID-19 positive cases remain on the rise, but as we cruise through this resilient town of Walvis Bay, it is evident that the public is indeed taking government measures to curb this pandemic seriously. The people remain in their houses, and those who are outside their homes in search of essential daily needs are wearing masks and practicing social distance.
Yes, officers. Yes. How are we? Good. Hey. Ah, good. Yeah. The officer is afraid. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, we have the permission. Yes, that is, you can read here. Okay. Thank you. Huh?
We should not stop living because of the virus. We have to strike a balance between saving life and livelihood.
Surely, if we work together and we assist one another, we will defeat this enemy that is invisible, and we will also see that we prosper as a country.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for you to be notified when we upload new content. Thank you and cheers.